Hi and welcome to U218. My name's Jeff Horne and this is a review for the 2019 film, in the UK anyway, Escape Room, directed by Adam Robitel. The only bit of promo that I saw for Escape Room before seeing it was the trailer that I saw once. I didn't really recognise anyone in the movie, and I didn't pay attention to any of the names that came across it. I thought it looked okay and, worth seeing just from the trailer. So I did. Now it's a movie about a group of strangers who find themselves trapped in a room, or in this case a collection of rooms, for reasons unknown, by someone that they don't know. And that instantly is the pitch for Saw. And so you start to think, is this just going to be a Saw ripoff? So Saw, for those of you who haven't seen any of the films, there's about 6 now I think, is about a guy who is dying from cancer, who essentially punishes people for their wrongdoings in their life. He locks them in rooms with terrible machines which are designed to maim or kill them, and they have a certain amount of time for them to make a decision, and it's usually that they have to injure themselves to get out. So it was the poster child for what was essentially called torture porn, along with the Hostel films. Escape Room is, I wouldn't call it a horror film, I'd call it a thriller. There's not enough blood in it to be a horror, but it's got people dying, it's got thrills in the normal sense. I've never heard of an escape room. Apparently it is an actual thing where people sign up to be locked in this room, and they get a certain amount of time to free themselves from that room by finding clues within the room to unlock a door, unlock a grate, whatever, to allow them to escape. And if they lose, they lose. If they win, I guess they get a cash prize. But in the concept of this is, what if when you lose you die? So we've got these 6 people who are, only one of them gets a backstory before we go in, so we know who the star is, and we see them figuring out how to get out. And each of the rooms are consecutive, so you escape one room, you get to the next room, you escape that room, you get into the next room, so there's no respite. So it's not clear if you're ever going to be able to get out. Hence thriller. And so when watching Escape Room for the first 20 minutes or so, I was thinking, how are they going to franchise this? And it's pretty easy to franchise. There's a mysterious figure that you don't see off screen. But is it going to be just a gore fest, or is it going to be something that's actually had a bit of imagination put into it? I'm happy to say that it's had some imagination put into it. It's pretty well put together. In a film like this, there are 6 people, and you know that there are deadly consequences. So some of them are going to die. So which ones are going to die? So there's always the audience participation of who's going to die next, how are they going to die, and I think I'm just tracking my way through what happens without telling you much. Apart from the first one, they are pretty good in terms of that you're not sure what's gonna happen when. The first one's kind of obvious, but it has to be to get things going. So in terms of what I can tell you without spoiling it, that's it. That's the story. So does it hang together as a movie? Yes, it does. Is it worth seeing? Yeah, it is. It is actually pretty well made, I've got to be honest, so that you can be very lazy in a film like this. You can just rely on the situation, you can rely on the room, but there is the positioning of cameras, etc., is pretty inventive. It's it's not as run of the mill as it could be. The performances are pretty good. Again, I didn't know any of the actors before going in. I think I've seen a couple of them in other things, but none of them were major stars to me or had done anything that sort of really resonated with me in the past. But there's a couple of them now that I will seek them out and see what's going on. They obviously want a sequel here, and in fact the sequel almost starts at the end, before the credits starts here. I think it's a $9 or $10 million dollar budget, and it's made about $60 million, so that's a pretty good return. So it will get a sequel. What I fully expect to happen is that the director of this will not be the director of the second film, but the writer of this will be the director of the second film. So yeah, we'll see if that one's any good. But to be honest, what I've seen of the mythology on this, it's not interesting enough to carry on. But as a self-contained film, Escape Room is actually worth seeing from a entertainment point of view, it's not going to win any Oscars. It's not going to get a place on my Blu-ray shelf. But, you know, I enjoyed it when it was on, and now it's finished. I still remember it in hindsight as having enjoyed it, which is about as much, to be honest, as I expect from a single concept film like this. So Escape Room, worth seeing. Don't panic if you don't see it, but, you know, it's alright. I've been Jeff Horne. This is U218. See you soon.